Hello Milky Jub Jubs, it's Milkstore here with you for another Idle Heroes video. How are you? I hope you are well. This week we are here to talk about Gembox and campaign and wishing coins, which means we're usually not installed for a very interesting week of Idle Heroes events. So I'm going to talk about the events this week, and then I'm going to talk about what's coming down the line, because I think that's a bit more exciting. So this week, what do we have? Ormus's Workshop is in week 2, and this week's Glorious Boost, you can get a lot of really good artifacts, obviously, and so I'm sure a couple of you have already had traded out your Glorious Relics for an A and B or a crown. I think I myself got a crown to upgrade it to a Splendid Crown. In the future, I'll probably go for the A and B because that's the must-have artifact. But yeah, second week of Ormus's Workshop. I don't know how you guys are doing on the food front. I have basically sacrificed everything in my bag to just get 3 Splendid artifacts. And I've been religiously buying from Celestial Island, the merchant on here. So this ship has about 5 orange exclusive artifacts at a cost of 25,000 gems. I know that sounds like a lot, but honestly, there is no other way to get that many artifacts. So we get another one here. So another 5,000. That's number 6. So I'm going to buy that out. It might seem like a lot, but for a guy in my stage where you're not really struggling for food, you are in a pretty good position for copies in terms of having like 2,000 scrolls, enough profit orbs to do ticks when he comes around. Really, the only thing that's stopping me from like ultra endgame is getting a whole bunch of Splendid artifacts. Like I said, I've got 3 Splendid artifacts. One on Russell, the Crown, Rui, Splendid A and B on Drake, and my Sherlock has a Splendid Rui, and that's it. That's all the upgraded artifacts I have. If you look at my bag, I just have all these unfused other artifacts. So I've got 3 Demon Bells ready to go to get my Splendid Demon Bell, which you probably don't need. I can get a Radiant Antlers, Dildo we can get there, and the Kiss of Ghost we can get to Glittery. So for me, it isn't necessarily, and I have another fully upgraded, what's this called? Magic Stone Sword as well. So for me, it's not a case of more heroes. I just need to get like more really good artifacts, because I think that's what all the top players have. And I think because they're making these pay-to-win artifacts somewhat easy to get now, I think a lot of you are going to find that, well, actually, I have a lot of these pay-to-win artifacts. What I don't have is enough food to upgrade them to a much higher level. Because don't underestimate how much essence, how much stuff you have to deconstruct to get some of this stuff. Like, see this yellow stuff? It's worth nothing. You need 30,000 artifact essence just to upgrade one artifact to the fully Splendid version. 30,000, just to keep in mind. 30,000 artifacts is basically, this isn't an orange exclusive one, but the orange exclusive ones, you only get 3,000 for a 1-star orange exclusive artifact. You need 10 of those, right? So 10 times 5,000 from the Celestial Island merchant. That's 50,000 gems, effectively, if you were to buy your way to get enough artifact essence to get a Splendid artifact. That's how much it takes. You might be like, oh my god, 50,000. That's a lot of cores. That's a lot of a whole heap of other stuff. But there's no other way to get artifacts quick, right? You could try and spin this as many times as you want, and I've got a fuck ton of coins. But these purple ones are only worth so much. So that's just something to keep in mind. I mean, that's where I'm at with my game. It's not necessarily where you are, but I'm almost certain a lot of you are going to start having trouble with food. Like, I used to have a lot more artifacts, but now I'm like, well, what's the point? You're not really going to use them. I mean, it's pretty good for Guild War and Interdimensional Arena, but who's actually playing those modes seriously, right? Early packages, nothing special this week. Standard fanfare, we're not going to talk about that. Crystal package, I've done the math on this. So it's about 375 gems per dollar spent. Details in the spreadsheet if you want the calcs on how it's done. But effectively, what's going to change the value of this pack to you is how much you can buy gold for at, where are we? How much you can buy gold for here in the Hand of Midas. So it's different for everyone depending on VIP level and your overall level as well. And these universal crystal shards, so the number I gave you of 375 gems per dollar spent, that's on the low side. We're still using the old way of converting universal crystal shards to the equivalent gem value by effectively going here and saying, hey, look, if 100 of these mushrooms gets you one scroll, and one scroll is worth 125 gems, then based on a 1 to 1.25 conversion factor, this thing here is worth like, 3,600 times 1.25 gems, which is around, 4,000 or 5,000 gems. And clearly that's not the case. This artifact, if you could buy artifacts, they would not be, especially like exclusive artifacts, pay to win artifacts, they would not be 5,000 gems. The orange exclusive artifacts on Celestial Island are already 5,000 gems in itself, so this cannot be 5,000 gems. Point is, this is worth more than what's in the spreadsheet, right? So that 375 gems per dollar spent, using the methodology I just highlighted, it's not worth 1.25 gems per universal crystal shard. It's worth like, I don't know, 4 times that amount, which means that the value of this pack is just that much more. Bottom line, should you buy this? It's 20 bucks. If you're a light spender and you need to jack up your VIP level, look, I would buy it. More so for the universal crystal shards, because it helps you get that next artifact that you need when it does come around from the campaign. It's probably not the magic stone sword this week, but when that does come around, it'll help you, right? And the gold always helps everyone. So it's not a super must buy, but it's somewhere between don't buy and super must buy. It's like buy it if you've got the cash and you got nothing else to do with the money. All right, this is a lot of cheeseburgers. So that's something to keep in mind. The rewards for this week, I really don't like the fact that they took away the chest where you could select any hero at the 3,100 and 2,700 mark, because these heroes, when they give you very specific heroes, it's a hit and miss. Like, you either really need that one copy and you value that one copy over the magic stone sword. But look, no one uses the universal crystal shards to get extra copies of heroes. They use it to basically get the artifact. That's like, I don't know why anyone, unless you were like just so super rich and you had all the artifacts in the world and you just needed that extra copy of the must-have hero, would you ever use universal crystal shards to get these heroes out at the 3,100 and the 2,700 level? Everything else is standard. There's nothing special here. I am probably going to go for orbs this week. Usually I go for scrolls, but I'm going to go for orbs because I think Ticks is going to come out before Black Friday. Ticks and Black Friday are not going to coincide, which means you need like a lot of profit orbs. But we're going to talk about next week and the future events after this. So then the next thing we go through is the Wishing Fountain event. And so this is a good way to get orbs out if you're short of orbs. And I'm going to do is probably as 4 loops, simply because I don't think they're going to make another special event just with using wishing coins, and if they do, I miss out, so be it. I don't know about it, so I can't plan for it. Mysterious chest this week, there's nothing special. The only thing worth talking about is the last chest. The last chest is expensive. This is like 8,000. I think it's usually about 6,000, and you get like an orange exclusive artifact. This week they made it 8,000, and I think they threw in the feathers as well, and you get 30,000 guild coins. I am on the fence about buying this, only because it's 8,000 gems, right? And you got to really ask yourself, do you need a Delacium copy? Because 8,000 gems just for glory coins and the feathers, it's a hard bridge to cross. Because I know some of you be like, oh, you get feathers with it as well. 8,000 gems for 30 feathers isn't that great a deal, right? But it's when you staple all these things together, then it becomes an amazing deal. Especially the glory coins, because the glory coins, and I would say the pack is more useful for early game, mid game players than it is for end game players. Because let's take my example, right? Me for an example, right? So if you look at Abyss, I've got a 5-star Delacium and a 10-star Delacium, and so another Delacium copy will just make this one E1, right? I'm not going to make another Delacium copy. You only need 2 Delaciums for a Delacium, inverted commas, army. But then you got to ask yourself, well, given Void and where it's headed, where the hell are you going to use the Delacium army, right? You could use it on Flameshine, but if you don't need the glory coins, why are you using it on Flameshine? And you could use it on Broken Spaces, but Milkshire, you're already clearing Broken Spaces in less than 100 tickets. What's the point, right? So immediately for me, Delacium's kind of useless. Recognize it might be useful for you, but then you got to ask yourself those same questions. Why would you build a Delacium army given where Void is at right now? in terms of how the PvE meta has kind of shifted, right? What's the Delacium army going to incrementally get you if you decide to build it, right? So immediately that takes Delacium out of the picture for me, and I would imagine most of you. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Then you get to the Glory Coin stage, and yeah, like I said, for early game and mid game players, it's super valuable. But for late game players, you're kind of like, well, I've already kind of upgraded everything on the second page for Warrior, except for Priest. But Priest don't really do any damage, right? Kind of upgraded everything on the second page of the Mage. I just got a couple more for Assassin, and I could probably do those if I really wanted to, sooner or later. Ranger, similarly upgraded everything except for Priest in terms of damage reduction. Then the Assassin side, look, I'm kind of short on the anti-mage stuff. I'm going to get there eventually, but am I in a rush? Not particularly. Priest, he's anti-everything except for Assassin, so, you know, we still got some ways to go. But then you would argue, well, Milkster, you haven't really done anything on the right side of the second page of the tech trees, and you've told me, I've seen your masterclass videos, you said, look, these are kind of useless because they just keep introducing new crowd control debuffs, things like that. And that's true to an extent. I've seen that, especially with Flora in the last few heroes, they're trying to reuse a common set of CCs that are already out there. It'd be interesting to see with the newer heroes that you introduce with like Fortress and the new Dark hero around Christmas, whether or not that theme continues. Because if that theme continues, then all of a sudden the right-hand side of this page becomes relevant again, right? But for now, I've concentrated on damage reduction. So it's kind of like, if I don't need a Delacium copy and I don't need the Glory Coins, then really you're spending 8,000 Melkshul. You're spending 8,000 gems for 30 feathers, which seems like a lot. And so that's why I'm really not that crazy about this pack this week for me. But like I said, mid-game, early game, you definitely must buy. But then you're kind of like, well, Milkstew, I don't really have, what, 8,000... 10,000 gems, because you're probably going to want to buy this, the scrolls, because it's always a good deal, so we're going to buy that. And you're probably also going to want to buy the Prophet Orb ones, because that's also a good deal, and you need the Prophet Orbs, right? So then it's kind of like, well, I don't really have 10,000 gems. I can really only buy this by itself, or the Prophet Orbs, or the scrolls. This is going to come through monthly. I would say if you don't need the Delacium copy, just wait. I'm almost tempted to say wait, even if if you don't have the gems to spend it, because you have to really need everything here, value everything here to get that pack is what my steer is, where I'm at. Anyway, that's the event for this week. There's nothing interesting, and it's good that we have another week of boring events. It gives us the chance to save stuff, and save our money, more importantly. If we look ahead to what's coming, next week is a bit of a boring week as well. It's just Imp's Adventure, Shelter Mission. If we look at the heroes, I think the nice thing here with these Shelter heroes is the fact that if you are stuck on Fortress because, let's say, you regressed or replaced your Penny for a Sherlock or something else, and you now need to build her up again because you're trying to clear Fortress Sealand 20 so then you can get that extra buff in Void, here's your chance to get those copies. And similarly for Horus as well. I know a lot of people have replaced him out, but now that they're seeing him as being quite viable, well, as a necessary in order to progress to Fortress Sealand 20 for Shadow with the 5 baby Tixes, everyone's rebuilding horses again. So it's nice that they let you, these heroes are there, but otherwise for everyone else, it's just food, right? Adventure Pack, it's probably just more dice and stuff, nothing special there. Grey Dog's Blessing, nothing special there. So next week's kind of Belair as well. The more interesting discussion, like I said at the start of the video, is where we are going in terms of the game. Like, what does the calendar look like? So, if we follow the cycle, assuming they don't shuffle events around, Ignis has just gone. We're getting Gem Box this week. Monopoly next week. New Fortress Hero end of this month, which will coincide with Halloween. So I think this will be a Halloween event. It'll double up. And you're going to get like packages and probably like a campaign type situation where you collect like Halloween candies or pumpkins to trade in for like new shit. Then I think you're going to get ticks. Unfortunately, I don't think ticks will coincide with Black Friday. Black Friday is down here, right? Scrolls, Black Friday. Because what that means is if people that think that ticks and Black Friday are going to be stapled together, I don't think you're going to have that luck for two reasons. One, it means delaying ticks by like 1 to like 3 weeks, completely screwing up the schedule, right? And two, apart from completely screwing up the schedule, I'm going to want to try and make you spend as many profit orbs before Black Friday as possible, right? So we won't know. The benefit of that we have right now is that we will get some certainty on Friday, right? So Friday, 23rd of October, they're going to release some spoilers at the DH live stream event for Black Friday, in which case, well, not in which case, where they'll probably tell us what the event currency is, right? And they'll probably also tell us if ticks is there or not, because I think that's the key question everyone has. Will it be profit orbs and will it be ticks, right? And after that event, then we can readjust our expectations about what to save and whether or not we should spend it. So that's good that they're saying we're going to give you Black Friday spoilers next Friday. Not this Friday, next Friday. And I'm going to try and live stream it as well, or just watch it with you. I'm going to try and get an interpreter as well, so then we can give you like the critical information live, but that's not guaranteed. I'm trying to find someone cheap. I'm not... It's hard to find someone that understands Chinese and understands the nuances of this game, because the language involved in this game, it's not common language. Like what you and I know as profit orbs might translate as like, I know, lucky penis pump or something like that, right? And then you're like, well, hang on, what does that correlate to? So that's the only thing to keep in mind if you're going to tune in for that live stream event with me next Friday. I'm going to try and watch it and try and get the CD codes as well, and try and understand what is coming for Black Friday for you guys. And like I said, my Chinese isn't great. Like, it's pretty basic. So that's why I'm trying to hire an interpreter to sit through it with me and just give me like a live translation. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, I think profit orbs will come with ticks, won't come together with Black Friday. So you're gonna... if you need ticks copies like I do, you're in a conundrum, right? Because it's kind of like, well, I want the Black Friday sort of pay to win artifact, but I also want ticks copies. But I don't have 640 orbs. I'm sure very few of us do. So what do I do? Let's wait until more spoilers come out after next Friday just to see what happens. Because if you follow the calendar, if you keep going with the calendar, then theoretically, Scrolls is the event currency for Black Friday. And because if you don't change the order of events, then actually the new Dark Hero being released at Christmas comes very nicely, right? It falls on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, new Dark Hero gets released. Nothing, the order doesn't need to be changed, and everything is perfect. Once you start mucking around with the order of profit orbs and whether or not ticks should scroll coincide with Black Friday, the order is like just all up in arms, right? So that's why personally I think right now, based on what we know, I think profit orbs is going to be at the start of November. You're going to get ticks because that's how the order works. And then end of November, the Black Friday event will either be... I could see them switching this. Like, they could bring PO forward and the reward would be the useless Flora. But then, I don't know, my dog's barking and my mom's barking with the dog. So, excuse my family, they're completely nuts, but I love them. So, the scrolls, I think Black Friday will either be scrolls. If it isn't scrolls, it'll be profit orbs, but the hero that you get will be Flora. That's the only thing that's worth calling out. So, let's just wait for the devs and let's see what they say about Black Friday, like I said. But yeah, I think if you're hanging out for, the ticks to fall inside of Black Friday nicely, I just don't see it happening at all. Anyway, that's the video for this week. I hope you have a great week ahead or great weekend ahead wherever you are in the world.